Did you guys hear that? It's 12 degrees outside. All right, looks like dinner is ready. Don't look great. And we got our lovely Christmas lights. According to the story about him, he saw a pack of wolves. Hey guys, Chris here. Tonight, I am in the Sierra Nevada mountains and I am in the Mount Rose Wilderness. We just got some fresh snow here and I'm busting out. Gonna be doing an overnighter up here on this ridge behind me. And we got Lake Tahoe this way. Some nice ridge behind me. So we're gonna be talking about the legend of a man named Snowshoe Thompson, who was a Norwegian-born skier in the 1850s who delivered mail up and over the Sierra Nevadas. He did that for like 20 years. We're going to talk about him tonight. That's next. All right, I'm up on this ridge and it's level. It's a little breezy up here, so it's got kind of a ground storm, snowstorm, that's what you want to call it. But I'm gonna get into some of these trees here, find a level spot and get out of this. But you can see the wind back there. It's, woo! Got to get in those trees before get too dark here, so right in here, baby. I don't need a lot of room. Got my snow shovel, and well, I can already feel the windbreak from this. This is great. Really cozy in here. Good view of the mountains. Lake Tahoe's right over that way. So I just got to find a spot here. Good view that way too. Wow. Check this out. This will be great in the morning. Look at that. Woo-hoo! Ooh, that's not a bad spot. That's nice to have some sun still up. Usually I'm setting up the tent in dark. So all right, I got a nice spot here, nice and level. Got some trees behind me and slopes away. A little spot I could even cook back in there if the wind does pick up. It's really calmed down since I was out in the ridge that way. Got Mount Rose right over here staring at me. I can see Lake Tahoe right over there. So good spot to put the tent up and get some dinner going. Okay, so we got a bit of a situation here. The wind is really picking up on the ridge, and so can you see? It's and the snow is blowing and it's actually affecting my camera. I found a spot down the ridge. It should totally get me out of this wind, out of the cold here, and it should be much nicer, but I'm gonna drag everything down there, so that's what we're gonna do right now. Okay, so I got everything set up. I got a really good spot. I'm on behind the ridge in this little draw here. It levels out. There's trees around me. The wind, I can hear the wind up high blowing, but I got out of that wind and I'm level. And I just collected some firewood. What's cool is I have a packable saw that I brought with me. There it is. And that, I was ready to use it, but once I go inside of the trees, these big pine trees, and kind of get through the branches, along the trunk is dead wood just sitting there waiting for me, and thin to thick stuff. So I broke off a bunch of that. I got a really good pile of firewood, and I have my Christmas lights. Here, I'll turn that. I got some Christmas lights. They're battery operated Christmas lights. So, and to go with that, I have a Christmas beer, Sierra Nevada celebration, a holiday fresh hop IPA beer to go with that, as well as some Christmas cookies from the cookie exchange at work that we had. And now I'm going to cook my pork chop here, and some broccoli. So I'm just trying to warm back up. I got this new sleeping bag, the KELTY Cosmic Down 0, and I just did a review on that. So I'm warming my feet back up and kind of gearing up to do some cooking. I think I'm going to do it in the vestibule right out front here. So, and then I could maybe keep my feet inside this sleeping bag. And then I'll get the fire going, and then I'm going to talk about Snowshoe Thompson, the Norwegian born early pioneer of the Sierra Nevadas here, who delivered mail over the Sierra Nevada mountains. And it was like 75-mile route he had. He did this twice a month for 20 years, from 1856 to 1876. And pretty interesting. Got a few stories about that. So, and then we got our Christmas lights that just fell on me. So, all right, let's get to it. All right, this is a really thicker than I wanted to get, but pork chop. So that's going to give me some good protein there. And I also have broccoli and a baked potato that I'm going to be cutting up. Hey Siri, what is the current temperature at my location? Hey Siri.
1 moment.
Oh.
It's 12 degrees outside.
Did you guys hear that? It's 12 degrees outside. Look at this. It's freezing. That's actually in Incline Village, which is down the mountain. So I'm actually higher than that. So anyways, I am sitting in my sleeping bag. I don't know if you guys can see this enough, but yeah, I'm sitting in my sleeping bag next to the door here. I do got the vent open at the top here, so that's making a difference. And we got our lovely Christmas lights behind us here, so. It says 12. I'm guessing it's probably 9 or 10. Hopefully this is as cold as it gets tonight. That's what it forecasts. It's going to be 12 for a low, so this is as bad as it gets. But so far the sleeping bag, the new sleeping bag, is working really well here. So I'm just laughing because it's just kind of hilarious. This is not what I normally dream about. It's like, I want to go camping when it's really cold and sit in the snow at night. Anyways, I like to cook everything at the same time if possible. So that is what I'm doing. But they say when you have a full belly, it helps you retain your heat. So, and keeping my energy level up. My toes were actually getting kind of cold, so I started moving around, collecting firewood. But the sleeping bag is actually really comfortable right now on my lower body, so that's great. Great. But this is a really thick, so that's going to take some fuel to do that. Oh, that side's already done. Look at that. Very nice, very nice. It's going to really make those potatoes give them some flavor there. And it's officially time to crack the Sierra Nevada Celebration IPA there, so feels a little crazy to be drinking a beer in this temperature, in this situation, but I do feel like a beer would go well with the pork chop, and it hasn't froze over on me yet. It's getting a little funky though. It had kind of a wanted to blow out the top there. So anyways, cheers. It starts out and it blinks like this, and then it picks up some momentum. Merry Christmas. Right, looks like dinner is ready. Don't look great. Big old fat pork chop and the potatoes. They cook really well once you slice them up. They cook much faster, so. I do have a little bit of ketchup in a packet of ketchup. Boy, I can really hear that wind blowing like up high, kind of over the top of me. Yeah, it's a little bit of rowdy weather we got going here. They did move the Christmas lights over here, so we got kind of a ooh, that's kind of a weird effect. So that's a little much. Let's see if we can adjust that one. We'll put the there we go. The silent night mode or something. Hey Siri, what is the current temperature at my location?
1 moment.
Oh, she's getting up from her break or something. What's going on, Siri?
It's 10 degrees outside.
Did you guys hear that? It is 10 degrees. So it's dropped 2 degrees since the last time we checked in with Siri, who happens to still be on duty for me. I appreciate that. Oh yeah, look at that. I don't know if you can see that, but it's cooked right through. And you don't want it to be too raw in the middle, not a pork chop. That is really good. It's nice and hot too. Oh, I like that mode. That's kind of fun. Oh yeah, and I got cookies. Some macadamia Christmas cookies. Okay, so here's the firewood I collected right there. Pretty good collection. I'm pretty happy with that. Should get me something And yeah, I just went into the trees in here, just like this. And I could just break off the dead stuff right there like that. There's some dead stuff right there. Probably gonna grab that. Up there you can see some more dead stuff. So, and then there's the live stuff. And anyways, we're gonna get the fire going right here. And then here's the tent right here. So, and that is below this big huge pine tree. But you can see the snow from the snowstorm that came through today. It's just staying right on the branches. Storm-proof matches. These will stay lit for 8, 10, 12 seconds. And that's gonna go with my dryer lint here. And I'm just gonna do it right on the top of the snow here. Keep it real simple. And get my dryer lint going. See when we pull this off. We got lots of little teeny weeny stuff here, real small. That's gonna add to that. So there we go. Okay, now we just gotta start feeding this little guy here. I'm just gonna go like that. There we go. Just gotta be really patient with this. It's just real small stuff here. There we go, it's catching. Look at that. Boy, you can already feel the heat. That's just really making a difference already. I love it. I just need to get a little warmed up here. I'm doing well, but you don't want to let your body go beyond your shivering and cold digits and things. You just really gotta do what you gotta do to stay warm and keep moving if you have to, or crawl in the bag. Yeah, there we go. Just slowly add a little bit bigger here. Windproof, stormproof matches. That works great. Just keep feeding it. Got my snowshoes as a support here and to keep my knees off the snow. There we go. And some more small stuff. Kind of mix it up now. And kind of weave it together. I like to do the pyramid or teepee style like that. That's just easy to stack around in a circle like that. All right, I think we are good to go for a while. There we go. Just a little bit more. There we go. And this is making a difference in this 10 degrees weather. But I couldn't imagine what it was like for the early pioneers with the gear they had and the clothing they had. And but the early pioneer that I'm going to be talking about tonight, his name was Snowshoe Thompson, and he was born in Norway in 1827. And in Norway, they ski a lot. There's a lot of, it's a very rugged country, coastal country, and a lot of snow. And he learned at an early age to ski and ski really well. And then his family migrated, moved to the United States. They were in Iowa, they were on a farm, and then they moved west, heard about the gold rush in California. He ended up in Placerville, and he had a ranch, worked the land a little bit, and then there was a notification from the U.S. government for somebody, and it said something like this: people that are detached from society and willing to traverse the mountains to deliver the mail. And he answered that call or went and got the job, and he knew he could ski, and so he his first trip out in 1856, and I don't know how old he was, but he was going to deliver the mail up and over the Sierras, and it really had been very spotty of people being able to do this successfully, and even people would disappear into the Sierra Nevadas. They're a very long mountain range, the Sierra Nevada mountains, and about 400-ish miles long, 75, 100 miles wide in places. And there was a big crowd out there, and it was his first delivery, and somebody said, you know, good luck, Snowshoe Thompson. And that's where he got his name, was somebody from the crowd. And back then, they called skis snowshoes. They were something you put on your feet and you go on top of the snow. They didn't ski like we ski now with ski resorts and, you know, going down the mountains for recreation. It was really more for kind of cross country, and then traversing down steep slopes occasionally, and then cross country. But he had 10-foot wooden skis that he made himself, and he had a single pole that he used as almost like a balance beam, like a tightrope walker, and then he could dig it in the ground and turn with it as well. And he was very efficient doing this, very skilled with this, and he went from Placerville, California with the mail, had about 100 pounds of mail on occasion. Sometimes it would be 50, sometimes 75, but up to 100 pounds of mail. And he would go up the Sierra Nevadas, and if you know anything about the Sierra Nevadas, they're very steep on the east side, and then it's more of like a long ramp on the west side. Took him about 3 days to get from Placerville to Genoa, Nevada, and then 2 days to get back because of the ramp. Once he got up to the top, he could ski all the way down back to Placerville. He did this twice a month for 20 years between 1856 and 1876. Really cool. And the people would hear about him coming in, like in Genoa, and the whole town would run out and see what was going on, to watch him come down the slope. There's a big slope outside of Genoa, and it's very steep, and he would get up to 50, maybe even 55 miles per hour skiing on these 10-foot long wooden skis. And the townsfolk, like I said, they would stop the baking, leave the store, leave the house and go out and watch this little silhouette coming down and get bigger and bigger until he brought the mail right into town, and they would all eagerly wait for the mail. There was no email, there was no texting, there was no any kind of communication outside of somebody bringing some mail and then a newspaper, things like that. But they were pretty excited about him. He was just a legend in the Sierra Nevadas, and there was tales of him rescuing people. A lot of times miners and people are in the mountains and they're in a cabin or something, you know, in a cabin, and the snow will fall and they get so deep they would get trapped, and eventually you run out of food, you run out of you know, supplies and even firewood because there's so much snow. You're above the trees, and he would rescue these people. But one time there was a miner trapped in a cabin up in the Sierras here, and he heard about him. The snow was so deep, the miner got trapped in there, and he didn't have snowshoes or skis or anything. And so he skied up and he found this cabin, and turned out his feet were near frostbite. And so he needed chloroform. And so Snowshoe Thompson built him a fire, got him some food, got him kind of under control. But he had to get the chloroform to make sure that he didn't lose his toes and even his feet. And so he had to ski back down to Placerville, another 50 miles, to get chloroform. And turned out they didn't even have it in Placerville, so he had to go to Sacramento, then back to Placerville, then back up to the cabin to deliver the chloroform so this guy could survive. And then and he saved his life. And so the legend has it also that he carried no gun, no blanket. He claimed to have never been lost even in blizzards. And he traveled a lot of times at night because the snow was smoother, it was slicker because it wasn't sticky, because it's actually colder at night. And there was one time where he said, according to the story about him, he saw a pack of wolves and they were working on a dead carcass of a deer, and he was skiing down the slope right towards them, and he was getting pretty concerned that he may have to deal with these wolves and having no gun. And he decided he skied right by them, right next to them, and they looked up and they watched him ski right between them, and then he kept going. He decided, I'm just going to keep going, ski right by him. I guess he was going pretty fast, maybe 35, 40 or something, and just blasted right by him. And they were so focused on their meal, they went, okay, well, we're good, so they left him alone. But yeah, he quite an interesting character though, and he worked for the Post Service for, like I said, 20 years. He was never paid to work for the Postal Service. I don't know why they didn't pay him. I'm hoping they compensated him in other ways with something, free stamps, anything. They should have gave him land or something, in my opinion, if they're not going to pay him. But I am really enjoying this fire tonight. It is a good blaze going on here. There was also another time where he rescued 3 miners that were snowbound in a cabin up here in the mountains. And he went up again and he found this cabin, just like the other one, but they weren't going to lose their feet, but they were trapped in this cabin and they were running out of food. So he was going to get them down the mountain. He took them one at a time, had them stand on the back of his skis, put their arms around his waist, and then he skied down. And I believe he skied the east slope, which is the steeper slope towards Genoa. And he brought them down the mountain, and they just hung on for dear life. And he skied with another passenger on the back of his skis, and he got up to really some pretty fast speeds with a guy standing in the back, 35, 40 or whatever. And he did that, delivered the guy, came all the way back up the mountain, got the next guy, brought him down same way with the skis, and then he did it a third time. He rescued 3 guys off the mountain by skiing and going back and forth. pretty crazy. He must have been super skilled, and he is considered the father of California skiing, and he even taught people how to ski and even how to make their own skis out of the wooden skis, and he would show them exactly how to do that, and people became so interested in it, and it became kind of popular up here. The miners that worked at the camps, like at Plumas Eureka State Park, there's an old mining operation there. They had since made it into a state park, and they would have in the winter, as a form of entertainment and competition among the mining camps, these men would get their 10-foot long skis, and sometimes there was even women involved, and they would have competitions of skiing and see who could be the best camp for that season. And it was a way to keep them entertained in the cold, long winter months up here in the Sierra Nevadas, and became so popular that they're actually still doing it up here. Is more of a in remembrance of that time period. So they'll have every February at Plumas Eureka State Park in Northern California here, they will have these longboard races, and people will dress in period costume with top hats and long coat and tails, and different mustaches and things. They really get into it. It's pretty cool. And the women wear long dresses, and they're skiing, and they have the long pole and the long, the 10-foot long skis. It's pretty cool. I've been to a few of these events, and I think we'll be going again this year too. Also, his route was from Genoa up over the mountains to Salt Lake Tahoe, and then roughly follows the now route of Highway 50 down the mountain towards Placerville. I'm currently at the north end of Lake Tahoe camping tonight. So his route was at the other end of the lake, and then it went west, and it was about 180 miles round trip that he did twice a month. 10,000 feet of vertical gain. That is a tough dude, gotta say. He is also buried at the cemetery in Genoa, Nevada. On his tombstone, he's got a couple of skis crossed like this. It says, John Thompson died age 49 and 10 days, I believe. And it says, gone but not forgotten. And so he is buried over there in Genoa. I'll have to go check that out. Also, there is a sculpture of him in the park there in Genoa, Nevada, of Snowshoe Thompson. The legend of California skiing and the Northern Sierras here. So pretty cool stuff. So I'm going to really just enjoy this campfire for a little while. I'm just loving the heat here. And then I'm going to crawl in the bag, and then I am going to see you guys in the morning. We're going to get up and catch some light on the peaks here and get some coffee going and enjoy that. So we will see you guys in the morning. Hey, good morning, guys. Just got up, and it's pretty chilly this morning. It was 10 degrees at the lowest last night when I checked in on it. Sleeping bag did really well. The length was not an issue. It was a little tight in the shoulders on me. I did have some extra things in my sleeping bag with me. I had my camera, my cell phone, and my charging stuff. So, but it did well though. I was warm, put it that way. So, all right. I got the snowshoes on. Just got those on. There we go. And I'm gonna go up over this little ridge this way, and the sun is coming up. You can see it behind me here. Go check that out. So, Okay, so we got Lake Tahoe. I can see it. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's right over there. And we've got a big meadow right down in there. Highway is down here. Beautiful morning. That sun feels so good. After a cold night like that, sun feels great. So, all right, guys. Because of the cold, my camera's not working so good, and it's kind of shutting off here and there. So I am going to call it a video. So I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. As always, keep hiking.